Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. The channel contains hundreds of different videos catering from beginners right through to the more advanced tyers and covering flies and patterns from all around the world. If you like what you see, stick around until the end of the video where generally you'll find the pattern description, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Let's get on with the show.
Hi guys, so we're going to tie a green George. So I guess this is a variation of the Gorgeous George, which I believe was Paul Cantlin come up with that. So this is a green version of it, and what we're tying it on here is a B160. So a B160 is a short shank. This happens to be a size 8. To me, a size 8 is equivalent to a standard size 10, but with the slightly wider gape that you get from this. So the 8 refers to the gape of these, I think. So it's like a size 8 B175, but shorter in shank. Or size, yeah, so it's the length of a size 10. Anyway, the thread I'm going to use here is a Textreme orange, which is sort of like a burnty orange. The reason for that is that it's similar in colour to the floss that we're going to use for the tail, which is a Glow Bright number 6. So we're going to take a length of that and then double it over a few times to get us a thicker strand. So we now have 4 strands because doubled over twice. So I'm going to set that up on top of my shank, then fold it back, tie back, so that means there's now 8 strands of it as my tail. So in addition, in the tail of this, there's a little bit of bronze mallard. So I'm going to take a few fibres of bronze mallard and just sort of set them up. These are going to be a little bit longer than the tail, but we've got maybe half as long again. So set that up on top. Tie it in forward, rip it off. I'm going to tie in the rib now. So the rib is a pearl tinsel. I'm going to use crystal hair, pearl crystal hair, because I have plenty of oddments of it laying about the desk, but I also find that it's probably a little bit more durable. It has that bit of stretch in it, so I don't mind using it as my rib when I'm using a pearl rib. Right, so body on this fly then is a brown olive seal's fur. So I'm just going to wax up the thread, and if you don't have brown olive, what you can do is take like a bit of brown seal's fur and a bit of olive seal's fur and mix the two together, and it'll get you that sort of colour scheme, theme, whatever you want to call it. So take that forward, and when I get as far as I need to go, I'm going to take off the excess. Now I've left a bit of room at the front here because I have several hackles to go on here. I've got at least 3 hackles going on the front, so I need to leave that bit of room. Okay, first hackle I'm going to use is a brown olive. So what I've done here is I took a natural red game and I dyed it olive, and that has resulted in a brown front, which has taken on the olive sort of hue, and then the rear of it maybe shines a little bit more with the olive. So I'm going to put on 2 turns at the front and then palmer that back down the fly in 3-4 turns, whatever I feel like. Get to the back and I'll take my rib through to catch it, and then take the rib up the body in 4 to 5 turns. Get to the front, tie it off, fold it back and tie over it. So given that it's a mylar type rib, I'm trimming off my hackle at the back rather than ripping it like you normally see me do. And I'll cut off my spare tinsel at the front. So we need legs on this fly, and the legs are knotted black pheasant tail. So you want about half a dozen or so of those. So you could choose to put it on now, or you could choose to put it on after the next tackle, but I think now, given that there's 2 more hackles to go on, it's probably the time for it, given that you can then cover up its tying in points with those hackles. You're onto the front, you're going to run out of space a bit. So I've took 6 fibres here, I've split them like that, 3 either side, set it on. I'm going to leave them straggle out longer than the tail there. 1 loose lap. When I'm happy that they're in position, then I'll just hold them back and wrap over that. So next we want the sort of brighter olive henny type hackle. It calls for Melvin olive. What I'm actually going to put onto it is this, which is I had dyed up a French partridge skin, and these bits up here that don't have markings on them are really nice. They have that sort of, well, they have the same structure as a French partridge, I suppose, but without the markings, and I thought a couple of the coloured ones have turned up a nice colour, so I'm going to use one of those. So what I'm going to do is find the tip of that and then separate it out like this, nip the tip off, and then just stroke forward a couple of fibres. Once I have a couple of fibres forward, I get this little gap, and if I tie my thread across that little gap, I'm just catching the very last bit of stalk, and then I can wrap this on. So I want to put on, I don't want too much on, maybe 1 to 2 turns. So put one on and see what it looks like first. And then I'll put on the second one and tie across. Stroke all these sort of errant fibres back and tie back. Over that. And then at the front we want a black sort of henny hackle. So I'm going to strip a hackle down, strip the base fluff off it. I'm going to double this one. If you look at my techniques section, you'll find a video on doubling hackles. So double it, nip the tip off, tie across, fold it back. I'm just going to go back a little bit more into that just to give me a bit of a platform to tie that in on. And then wrap that hackle. So tie it in and flip it back. As you see, it's quite a busy, complicated fly. And then what we're going to do to finish this fly off is jungle cock. So either small nails or splits. So small, we're talking the very tip of the jungle cock cape here, these little funny little bows. Now I'll take a couple of those. I'm going to strip off the base sort of fluff from them. And then place it up on the side, hold it in position with one finger, just pressure against it, a couple of turns over it, and then repeat on the near side. So just measure it up for length, press it in, and then we'll trim off the ends. It just remains to finish the head. So I'm going to varnish the head now. And then I'm going to wrap into that. I always do more than one generally. Just think it's more secure. When I'm done, trim that off. And then we just need to do extra coats of clear varnish once this is dried. So that is our green George Tide. So thank you for watching until the end of the video. Please take this opportunity to hit the subscribe button down below. Tell your friends about the channel, and if you want to watch some more of my content, then check out some of the links that are appearing in your screens at the minute. As per usual, I hope you enjoyed the video, so until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.